And I mentioned this on Twitter earlier this week, but it seems that a lot of people out there think winning teams get there somewhat gradually, that you have to make noticeable, significant progress every year or things aren't going right. I mean, you go from 60 wins to 65 to 70 to 75 to 82 to 88, and then boom, there's 93, and then there's 90. That's not the way it works. I just went back and looked at some of the clubs that are successful right now and have been successful, that were successful last year. They're certainly expected to be successful this year, and went and looked at the jump they made between being bad and their first good season. Check this out. It's more than a 1 year. It's more than likely that we see some of these clubs. You know, maybe the Mariners are doing that this year or next year. Maybe the Tigers are doing that next year. Maybe the Royals are doing that this year. I don't know. But that 1 year explosion is very real. What's more rare than that is the gradual improvement. I mean, go look at the Padres, who won 62% of their games last year. They won 70 games in 2019, 43% victory. And last year they won 62% and made the playoffs. That is a huge jump. The White Sox won, I believe they were at a 95 win pace last year. They had a 599 winning percentage, I think, after just 72 wins in 2019. So essentially, pace-wise, a 23 win pace increase. Now, if you don't buy the pace thing, because I don't, I think teams generally slow down a little bit as the season moves along and things even out a little bit more. Maybe there are 90-win teams and we're only talking about an 18-win increase instead of a 23, but still. The Twins went from 78 wins in 2018 to 101 in 2019, and then they won 97 last year. Well, paced for 97 last year. The Cubs in 2014 won 73 games, and then they jumped to 97 in 2015. And my favorite rebuild comp, of course, the Atlanta Braves. They won 67 games, then they won 68 games, then they won 72 games, and then they jumped to 90. And they won the division, and they've won 3 straight divisions looking for number 4. The Mariners don't need to they were on a 73-win pace last year. They don't need to jump to 81 wins or 84 wins in 2021 for it to be realistic or even likely that they take a significant jump in 2022 up into legitimate contention. And you look at those teams, they didn't have a bunch of free agents either. Their young players got better. You know, the Padres added Manny Machado before the 2019 season. They went into 2019 thinking, we have a shot. Well, boy, were they wrong, and some things went bad, and it wasn't a bad plan. Things just didn't go well. And then in 2020, they did. But the White Sox, they didn't make a bunch of free agent, acquisitions. The Twins, those are just teams that, oddly enough, especially for Chicago being in a big market, they don't do that. But their young players got better. A few key prospects jumped in and contributed. It's so the blueprint for Seattle. Look at that Atlanta Braves club. Look at the White Sox. It sucks, but for the key for 2021 is more of the same. It's keep on keeping on. It's stay the course. And I know it's boring, and many are just tired of hearing it. I get it. But here's the good news. In my opinion, it's the last time, for at least a short while, the club's going to enter a season with these kinds of realistic markers, these kinds of goals. I really believe that. Not that I see necessarily a 100-win World Series caliber roster next year, but I do think they can and should enter the 2021 trade deadline, the offseason following the 2021 season, and then the 2022 season with a playoff berth as the number one goal and make moves accordingly. I think every deal Dipoto makes from now on, the rest of the calendar year, is about making the postseason in 2022. This season's going to be fun. I think we're going to see flashes of very good baseball, but also stretches where it's more of the same, kind of an overmatched roster in some ways. But I do think the rotation is better. I think the lineup is better. I think the bullpen is better, albeit still mediocre on the upside. I think barring major injury, the team easily wins 70 to 73 games. And I would, and have, by the way, bet very aggressively on the over 72.5 wins for the Seattle Mariners this year. Even though I don't know and don't expect James Paxton to be on the roster all year. And I don't know whether Mitch Haniger is going to be there beyond July either. I still believe they're winning 73 or more games. I don't think they're winning 85, but I still think 72.5 that's an easy pick for me. On the upside,